When you hear the cha-ching, you know that it is Money Coach time. It is Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern time. Listen, I am here and I'm waiting for you to put into the chat box where you are watching from, what part of the country, what city. Now, make sure you put your name there because depending on how you're watching the show, sometimes on our end, it just says Facebook user. And then I have to go in later and I'm like, oh, that was so and so. That was so and so. So put your name in. Tell us where you're watching from. Are you watching from the Queen City, Charlotte? Or maybe you're in Alabama, or maybe you're in Michigan. I don't know where you're watching from until you tell me. So put it in the chat box so that we know who we are reaching on this wonderful Tuesday evening. Listen, man, your boy is tired. I've been running, ripping and running, and had some great things happen this week. Have some challenges happening, but you know, that's what life is all about, right? So, as many of you may know, my wife and I, we did celebrate 25 or no, July 25th, we celebrated, which was yesterday, we celebrated 30 years. I've been talking about that a lot on the show. So thank you all for, saying happy anniversary. Thank you, Harvey Jones, for being here. We practically just hung up talking. Ruth Bell, thank you. You did text me yesterday, but I was trying not to work yesterday. So I will definitely give you a call tomorrow. Ruth Bell, here each and every week on the Real Money Coach Show live. Alice Martin, thank you for being here as well. Another one of our faithful viewers and watchers, and so many of you out there, and you send such great text messages and encouragement. And so we appreciate it. We love you. We just thank you for being part of the Real Money Coach family. If you've had the chance to listen to the Praise 100.9 show on Radio One, put that in the chat box. Just put Radio One or Praise 100.9. Let me know that you're watching. That show airs, the Real Money Coach airs on Saturday mornings at 7:30 a.m. 7:30 a.m. And what we're doing on Saturday mornings is we're giving you really a prelude to, thank you, Alice, giving you a prelude to what's happening on Tuesday. So, for example, last Saturday, my special guest on the radio show was our special guest that'll be here tonight. His name is Ivan Thomas from Intrigue Media Group. And so we had just kind of a brief 7 minutes on the radio on Saturday morning, kind of talking about some of the things that we're going to talk about tonight. And then also I share with you real money news, which are current items in terms of news that may affect you from an economy or economic or financial standpoint. And then I finish it up with what I call good evening, Dr. Benita. Then I finish it up with a part that I call Real Money Moves. And so in Real Money Moves, we're just talking about different things as it relates to financial literacy, things that you can do to kind of put yourself in a better position. And thank you, Alice. Alice said, "Hey, I was listening to you. All right, love it." And so last week I was talking about how to recession-proof your how to recession-proof your retirement. And so when my co-host comes on here in a few minutes, we're going to talk a little bit about that. Thank you, Elliot Gardner, for being here from Harlem. How about that? Listen, Harlem, that's one place I do want to go visit. I have not been to New York City before, so I need to get out to New York City and check it out, right? So let's bring on Michelle, and her and I may have just a few minutes to kind of talk a little bit about recession. The recession, Michelle. Michelle, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. So the
Good.
recession has hit every place, or has it hit? I guess might be a question. It may not hit Kalamazoo, right? It may not hit it at all, right? So,
You're
um,
right.
what's your opinion? Do you think we're in a recession, or do you think we're headed to a recession, or you think not at all?
Here's what I think. I think we are in I hate to say the word, an unprecedented time
Okay.
where there's a lot of things coming together all at the same time, where in other periods in in our country, you would have one of these anomalies happening at a time. But we've gone through a pandemic. People have been cooped up in their homes.
Are we gone through it? Or are we
No,
still
we
in?
still in a pandemic because people
Okay.
getting sick all over the place
All
again.
over.
Yeah.
It is cold red in Charlotte. In parts
Oh,
of
yes.
Charlotte, it's cold red right now.
Yes, it's red here in Kalamazoo County as well. We're the
Okay.
only county in the state of Michigan that's red right now.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. So we've all been through a pandemic, or we're all in the midst of the
Okay.
pandemic.
Right.
We've all experienced collectively around the world, we all paused at the same time.
Mm.
That caused businesses not to produce the things because we're used to producing in just in time inventory, right? So
Right.
now we're feeling the supply chain pull, right? So we're filling the supply chain. There's a lot of demand out there because people had extra cash during the pandemic and they've been cooped up. So there's a lot of demand. People are getting out their houses this summer. So
Yeah,
there's no
they're
staying at
going.
home.
They're traveling.
They travel.
The airports are
The air
full. Airports are
the
full.
airports are overwhelmed. So
And
if
so,
you just look at the airport situation,
right.
that's really what the economy is right now.
That's what it looks like, right?
Yeah, that's what it looks
You
like
have
right
more
now.
travelers than you have
Yeah,
airplanes.
exactly.
People on them, right?
Right.
So listen. So what you just described is what causes inflation, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Because okay, so we had money supply, which
Yep.
was the money that was put into the economy by because of COVID, right?
Because of
So they
the
have the
pandemic.
stimulus checks.
Mm-hmm.
We have this quantitative easement, which is
Yep.
the printing of money,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then you have these stimulus checks that went out. You
Yep.
had increased unemployment,
Mm-hmm.
and so people were saying, "I'm not going back to work. I'm getting employment." So
Yep.
you have this influx of cash,
Yes.
and so you have more people who want to spend cash
Yes.
than we have supplies. Because, as
Exactly.
you mentioned, when we studied this in school, right? Cost
Mm-hmm.
accounting,
Yep.
just-in-time inventory,
Yep.
just-in-time manufacturing,
Yep.
and so you don't have that inventory sitting around. You
Right.
make it as you need it, right?
You make it as you need it.
In the book where we call it print on demand, right?
Right.
So
Yeah.
it's produced on demand.
Yes.
Well, when the supplies change, people work, we close down. The supply of goods and services
Mm-hmm.
has been reduced, but you
Exactly.
got more people with money to spend.
Yes.
Therefore, we cause inflation to go up, which,
Yes.
by the way, in June was 9.1% inflation
Yep.
rate.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Tremendous, right?
Tremendous.
Tremendous. And so now what
But
happens?
also um now employers, like the job market is still strong though, right now, because
Right.
in a recession usually the job market softens and people begin to lose their jobs. But because um
Everybody's hiring
everybody's hiring
because of
now
the great resignation.
because of the great, yes,
With that, you won't see as big of impact
exactly,
because
even with the inflation,
even
yes,
with inflation,
mm-hmm.
because we are already in a situation
Yes,
where we didn't have enough workers,
right,
right? And
right,
so now, instead of businesses have to lay off, they said what you will see is them pull back on hiring. So
right,
instead of everybody saying I'm hiring, they're going to say, although there are some large companies, large
mm-hmm.
corporations that are saying, "Hey, listen, we're going
We're
to let
cut,
people off. We're
yeah,
going to cut back on the workforce."
right.
So
But yet small businesses still need those people. It's just a shifting,
mhm.
yeah, is there's a shifting happening in
So
the labor market, so we
right.
got the supply chain, we got the labor market, we got the interest rates, and we got a pandemic, and inflation.
Yeah.
So, like,
And by the way, the Feds are raising the
yeah,
interest rate
interest rate
another 3 points or 0.75.
0.75.
Yeah, so they're raising it almost another percent. They're
Yep.
raising the ceiling on the interest rate, which is going to cause the interest rates to go up.
Yeah. Which causes um purchasing to cool down, because now we can't get that money cheap
Right,
anymore.
right,
So we're less likely to spend on credit because it's more expensive now,
right.
right?
And that's really by design
Yeah,
because they got to figure out a way to get this money back into the Federal
for the
Reserve, the central
reserve.
bank, right?
Yeah,
Because they printed all this money
yeah,
and they didn't have anything to back it up. They just said,
yeah,
"Hey, listen, we got to give a check out. We got to
yeah.
give a check out. We got to give a check out."
Because
And of course,
otherwise the economy would have crashed
right,
had they
right,
not. Yeah,
right. So, and our inflation rate is not nearly what in some countries in Europe are experiencing
yeah.
all this.
I mean, because
So,
and this is happening all around the world. So we're all experiencing it at the same time. So that hasn't happened either. So,
right. Right. So, like you said, we've never seen times like this before, and the question is, with all this going on,
mhm,
as an individual and as a business owner,
yeah,
how do you prepare for the recession? How do you
exactly.
prepare for this unique environment that we find ourselves in that we've never been before? And a couple of the points that I covered on the radio show was number one is you don't want to panic, right?
Ex-
So it's not a
That's
time
my
to
first
panic.
thing. Do not panic.
Do not panic.
Do not panic.
But you want to be wise. You
Yes.
want to take in wise counsel,
Hmm.
but don't panic.
Right.
I said this. I said, don't make permanent decisions based on temporary situations.
Exactly.
Okay. So
Mhm.
we don't want to panic. But then from a retirement standpoint, you can do some things to protect yourself so
Mhm.
that if the market crashes, you don't lose your retirement.
Yep.
But you're still in the game, right?
Hmm.
So if the market goes back up, you're winning. And I think from another thing is, just even our normal shopping habits,
Yep.
just where you maybe used to not bargain shop, maybe you went past the
The
clearance
sales rack.
rack.
Hmm.
Now you need to do that, right?
Yes.
You need to watch your spending, how much you're spending on just everyday goods and services.
Hmm.
Um, maybe it's time to let go of the brand names, right? So the
Maybe.
Gucci and the Louis Vuitton or whatever people are buying now. Maybe it's time to cut back on some of those things
Yep.
and just think about your own family and your own legacy and how to weather this storm. But one of the things I do want to say something, particularly about our people. We've been through this before, right?
Oh, yes. We've been through
It's,
this before.
I mean, what a recession? I
Yeah.
mean, okay, they like, man, I welcome recession, man. That just means we've been through a lot, right?
Right.
We've been through a lot. And so, Josh Dial, thank you for dialing in tonight. I see you there. So we've been through it. We've
Yes.
seen our parents go through it.
Hmm.
Um, as I got older and realized how much mom and daddy made on their
Hmm.
job, I'm like, I don't know how in the world did they do it.
Yeah.
How did they feed us?
Hmm.
How did they keep a roof over our head? They kept cars that were running,
Hmm.
and all of these things is that we have been used to being resourceful.
Yes.
We're used to that, right?
We're used
I
to it.
mean,
Yeah.
you know, we ate everything from the rooter to the tutor, right? We our people were used to that,
Right.
and
Right.
so and I think in many times we're poised for that because of that. We've been conditioned for it. We've been
Hmm.
living a life of recession,
Yep.
um, and not all of us, right? And
Right.
there's people who are doing really well
Hmm.
that will have to make adjustments too. So.
Yeah.
So from
Yeah.
a business standpoint, from what are you telling your business clients?
So from a business standpoint, it's the same thing. One, don't panic. Get a plan. Put your plan in place, right? Be
Right.
strategic about it. Two, conserve your cash.
Yeah.
Conserve your cash. Just like a family budget, cut the things that you don't need or are no longer working for you in your business. It's also an opportune a time to take advantage of some opportunities, because there will be some opportunities that will rise because of the economic conditions.
But if you don't have the cash to take
Right.
advantage of them,
Exactly.
you could miss out.
You could miss out because now it costs more money for you to go out and get capital. So
Right.
if you're in business and you're conserving the cash that you do have and just being more efficient in your business, that's one of the ways you can utilize that stored up cash to actually go after an opportunity for your business. Because I'm telling you, they're coming. Just because, when big business, I forget how it goes, when big business starts to shift, they shake out smaller business that can't afford the big business anymore. So it's an opportune time for smaller businesses to get that new contract or whatever,
And
but you gotta be ready.
and service, man. Come on, let's
Yeah.
get some service. Let's get service.
Yes.
Now, this is what I want to do. I want to give someone, because I think one thing that has good evening, Kimberly. Thank you for being here. One of the things that I think has hurt us in terms of people in general, businesses, and all this is um, with your bank statement, you can opt in for electronic delivery or
Yes.
no delivery of your bank statement, and you get a
Yes.
text message your bank statement's ready.
Yes.
I think that's hurt us a lot, because I tell people this, and I'm telling everyone this: even if you get your bank statement electronically, I want you to print that bank statement off. I want you to get a highlighter, and I want you to go through that bank statement and highlight the things that are not necessary.
Yes.
Highlight things that you're double paying. Highlight
Mhm.
things that you have.
Highlight things that are serving two purposes. Like it's this,
Yeah, yeah.
like you're paying for two things, but one of them they both do the same
They
thing.
do the same thing. They
Yeah.
do the same thing,
Yeah.
right? I mean, and do you watch that much Netflix and
Right.
all that stuff?
Exactly.
I don't mean to pick on Netflix, but people have Netflix and they have all these streaming
They
services,
have Netflix and they have cable.
right? And you can get a lot of that on YouTube, right?
YouTube is great.
So yeah, I mean, but just seriously, take your bank statement um,
Hmm.
and go down through it and see where you can cut some costs.
Yeah.
Um, and the other thing is pick up the phone, call your provider. I
Yeah.
mean, if you have an internet provider, phone provider, and say, hey, listen, I mean, you're outside of the trial period where they gave you the
Hmm.
cheaper. And a lot of them have senior discounts, for our
Yeah.
seniors who are watching. You can call Spectrum and say, I want the senior citizen discount. Now, they're
Yeah.
not going to contact you and tell you
No.
that it's available, but you can call them and say, hey, I want the senior discount
Hmm.
and get your bill cheaper.
Yeah.
Find out what you're eligible for. Take advantage of all those things. Service people, if you are a veteran or
Yeah.
related
There's a
to
lot of discounts.
take advantage to everything
Hmm.
that you have out there. So
Yeah.
that's my tip for just weathering the recession is to look at everything. And the other thing you need to do is turn your passion into profit, right?
Right.
You got to turn your passion
Yes.
into profit.
You do. You
So,
do. And you need a professional to help you because you're not going to figure it out on your own.
well, and here's the thing that happens, and this is leading into our conversation tonight with our
Mhm.
guests. We tend to want to cut out the people that can help us get where we want to go.
Exactly.
So the first thing we do is like, well, boom, I can just cut my advertising,
Yeah.
cut my PR, I can
Hmm.
cut my consultant, I can
Hmm.
cut the people that will really kind of help you weather the storm. And
Yeah.
I think that sometimes in this era of Facebook and social media, and I'm talking to the business owners now, we like, well, I can just post on Facebook. I could just do this
You could.
and not really put any money into advertising or
Mhm.
PR. And I think that could be a mistake
You got
because
to have a strategy first.
you got to have a strategy, right? And so
Yeah.
you need a strategist. And
So exactly, you need a strategist.
you need a strategist. You need
Yeah.
a strategist to help you in your money, right?
Mhm.
Strategist to help you with your advertising and your PR.
Mhm.
It's just like this. I'm simply not going to go to a foot doctor if I have a heart issue,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
And so we need those expertise in our camp to
Yeah.
help us weather the times when they're when you know
And
when
guess what? It shortens your path to success. It
well, say
shortens
that
it.
again. Say that
It
again.
shortens your path to success because with their knowledge, it just escalates you even further. So, what you really want to do as a business owner is to get ahead of the recession. So, hire somebody that's going to help you shorten that path and get you there faster. So, you're not just trying to climb the hill by yourself.
Right. And Michelle, and you know what I love about this is because you're really passionate about business. I'm
Mm.
really passionate about individual. So we can give them. It's the same thing
It's the
individually.
same thing as the
It's the
individual.
same thing individually. If
Yeah.
you want to shorten your path,
Yes.
if you want to shorten your path, I got a recommendation for you. Get this book right
Get
here. Get this
that
book
right.
right here. Get this book right
Get
here. Increase, protect, and dominate your money. Just want to remind everyone you can get your book for free by
Yes.
going to iPadyourmoney.com using
Y'all,
the
that's free
discount
knowledge.
code iPad 100. So
Yeah.
I'm giving the book away to
Yes.
help people to
Free
shorten
knowledge.
the path.
Yeah.
And so yeah, take advantage of that. And I know we got books going out. I see Joshua Dow. He's recently got himself a book. He's with us tonight. So we need to do that. Now, here's what I want to say. Um, I am not an advertising expert. I'm not a PR
Right.
expert. I'm not a social media expert, right?
Yeah.
So because those are not my skill sets, I have to surround myself with people that have those skill sets.
Hmm.
And that brings us to the guest that we're going to have on tonight. I just want to tell you about this guy. I mean, I was introduced to him by someone on our team, and I saw what he was doing for her, and I was like, man, come on. Listen, I gotta at least reach out to this guy and see what he's all about. And so when I talked to him, his name is Ivan Thomas. He's the president and CEO of Intrigue Media Group. And then so I got a chance to talk to him. I was like, yeah, okay, I like him. I mean, just real positive. I like what he was saying. And then when I met him, and I met his wife Autumn and two of his kids, and he's a family man, and I was like, yeah, this is my guy, right? And so I decided that he would be the one, and that we'll give some business to in terms of
Hmm.
PR. And I tell you what, I've been pleased. So, without any further ado, let's bring Ivan Thomas to the stage on the Real Money Coach Show.
Yeah.
There he is. There he is.
Hey, so what
Welcome.
do you want?
How you doing tonight?
I'm doing excellent. Excellent.
Man, I am too. I am too. And glad to have you on the show. We had a good time on Saturday for a few minutes, and so I'm looking forward to continuing that conversation with you tonight here live. And so, I know we're doing this kind of repeat. Some people heard it on Saturday, but tell everybody who is Ivan Thomas. Tell us a little bit about you and how you a little bit about your business, and then we can get
Okay.
into some specifics.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. So Ivan Thomas, I'm a visionary, I'm a father, I'm a husband, I have 3 children, by the way. And I'm just an entrepreneur, celebrity publicist, author, motivational speaker. And really my purpose and passion is really just to inspire, to educate, to motivate, and empower as many people as possible. And one of the ways that I do that is through my companies that I've built. So I have a company called Intrigue Media Group, which is a strategic communications company that specializes in PR and brand and reputation management for clients in the arts, culture, lifestyle, and entertainment industries. I also own a credit repair company called Credit Savant LLC. And I'm also the founder of an international motivational movement called Defy Gravity International, which is focused on mindset development, helping people to tap into their gifts and their purpose so that they can launch into their ultimate level of greatness. So if you see behind me, I have the whole astronaut theme and the whole outer space thing. I want people to take their visions and I want them to launch them into outer space. So that's really what my brand is all about. I've been in the PR industry for about 15 years. I established my company, Intrigue Media Group, in 2014. So actually in December, we will be embarking on our 8th year, and it's been an exceptional ride. I've had the privilege of working with some extraordinary individuals, some great companies, just to list a few: Xerox, Cancer Treatment Centers of America, Nielsen. I've worked with Reverend Jesse Jackson, rapper Waka Flocka Flame, actor Darren Henson, and the list goes on. But I'm just grateful for the work that I've been able to do to help people to just have a voice. I'm very committed to helping, particularly my community, which lots of times is disenfranchised, and our voices being kind of smothered. So I like to project our voice as much as possible and to help us to get access, because that's what it's really all about in our communities. It's having the knowledge, the opportunities, and the access. So with everything that I do, that's what I aspire to bring to the table.
Man, that's pretty awesome. So where'd you grow up?
So I was born in Washington, D.C., and I grew up, we moved around, but I grew up the majority of my life outside of Chicago. So, my mom's from the D.C. area. My dad's from Newark, New Jersey. And actually, funny story, my dad went to Howard, which is where I went to school. And, my parents met when they were in D.C. My dad was in a frat. He was a Kappa. And his nickname was the Nasty Stroller because I was actually conceived on Howard University's campus. So, one time I was moving into a dorm. It's called Meridian Hill, and I was looking over 16th Street out of my door, and I'm like, "Hey, Dad, I got my new dorm. I just moved into my room." He's like, "Oh yeah?" He's like, "Where's it at?" I'm like, "It's on the 6th floor. I'm overlooking, I think it was 14th Street or whatever." And he's like, "That might be where you were conceived, brother." I'm like, "Oh." So anyway, yeah, but went to college at Howard University, and really just moved around a lot. My dad was in the journalism field, so he wrote for several newspapers like the New Jersey Star Ledger. So we lived in Jersey, of course, a couple areas. The Boston Globe, so we lived in the Boston area. He wrote for the Chicago Tribune, the Rochester Democrat and Chronicle. So we got a chance to move around a little bit. But for the bulk of my life, I lived outside of Chicago.
Okay. Now, what community outside of Chicago?
So actually, Lake Forest. We started off on the south side, and then we moved to the north side, the northern suburbs called Lake Forest.
Gotcha.
So like the Chicago Bears practice and all of that stuff. So.
Okay. So it's interesting. We talked a little bit about this Saturday, Michelle, because every time my son speaks somewhere, he somehow figures out how to incorporate that fact that he goes to Howard, right? And the other thing that he incorporates in every conversation is the fact that he's a Kappa. So he and your dad would probably get along really, really well.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Mm-hmm.
They got that HU thing and the whole Kappa thing going on.
So you might know my godfather, who's over the Northeastern Division. He's based in Washington, D.C., but he's like over the division of Kappas in the Eastern region. So they might definitely need to connect.
Yeah,
I'm sure they have, maybe, but
Yeah, we'll make sure that happens.
Yeah.
And Michelle's brother went to Howard, right?
Yes.
Howard?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
he's still out there in DC. Yeah.
He's still in DC. Okay. Yeah. So I mean, Ivan's kind of young. He might not have been. Darnell might have been gone by the time Ivan was there.
Yeah. He right after us. So.
Right after us? Gotcha. Okay, gotcha. So man, so we were talking a little bit about Saturday, and I want to kind of start in there. And Michelle, it was interesting. He said something that just kind of hit me. You said that advertising is you pay for advertising. You can clean this up, but public relations you earn.
Yeah.
Kind of clean that up for me and tell us, let's get into a conversation, the difference between advertising and public relations.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think, that's what a lot of people are confused about. Really, PR is probably the lesser known of the two. I think over the past several years, people have really started to say, hey, I need a publicist, I need PR. But yeah, you're absolutely right, Tony. The difference is that advertising is considered paid media and public relations is considered earned media. So, we have a phrase in our industry that says advertising is what you pay for, PR is what you pray for. Right. So at the end of the day, the main difference between advertising and public relations is that advertising is more sales driven. So it's more like, in your face, here's my product. My product's great. You should buy it. And the focus is primarily on sales. Whereas public relations, the operative word in public relations is relations. Right. So we're focused on helping you to project your message, in a clear and concise manner that will resonate with the general public and with the press. And from that, what you do is you work on establishing valuable and strategic relationships. You also focus on building credibility and building trust with your consumers. And at the same time, you have to earn it. So we have to, as publicists, our focus is to make sure that we're able to articulate the message and the voice of our clients in a way where it resonates with the press, where it resonates with the public, where they want to pick it up and say, hey, we want to know more. We want to interview this person. We want to hear their story. So again, advertising is more so, here's the product. It's more direct. Buy it. It's amazing. And PR is more so, hey, this is what we stand for. This is why we believe what we do is important for you. This is how we plan to impact, whatever the situation is. This is how we plan to make life easier for you. This is how we plan to, promote, your morals and your values or whatever the case may be. But that's what PR is all about.
Man, that's good stuff. That's good stuff.
Collaboration.
Huh?
Collaboration.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we as you heard, we were talking a lot about the recession,
Right.
and all that. And sometimes the first thing we cut may be advertising, maybe PR.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of just wonder what's your take on why would I, as a business owner, if you got Tony Michelle saying, look at all your expenses and all this,
right?
Why would I, as a business owner, not cut my PR budget? Why would that be not a good idea? And I'm assuming you think it's not a good idea.
No, I think it's a terrible idea, and I'll tell you why. Because
there's a terrible idea.
Right. Of course, during COVID-19, we know a lot of people were struggling. A lot of business owners, especially if they had, in-person interaction or stores or things of that nature, sometimes they had to close, right? But when you do that, how do you get the message out? How do you engage your customer base? And I think that with the individuals who decide to cut PR or marketing out of their budget, they're operating from a scared perspective. And, we know that as entrepreneurs, like if you're going to be scared, you might as well not do it. You might as well just be safe, keep your job or do what else you need to do to have what you think is more stability. But of course, during COVID-19, you weren't really stable because people got furloughed, people, got fired from their jobs. So what I recognize is that the individuals who really wanted to be proactive and set themselves apart from the competition, they really took advantage of PR and marketing. They actually ramped up their PR and marketing efforts so that they can keep their message out there because they knew that the entrepreneurs who were playing scared were gonna hide and they were gonna say, hey, we gotta cut back, we gotta scale back. They weren't gonna be as aggressive. So if you really want to be very successful, if you want to establish yourself apart from your competitors and really show people why you're the subject matter experts or why, you're the company that they need to work with, people are looking at you and you're having to cut back and, you're not being aggressive. They're used to seeing content. They no longer see it. Then it becomes out of sight, out of mind, right? But when you're at home, everyone's, quarantined, they're stuck in their homes. What do they go to? They're on their phones, they're on the computers. You know, they're scrolling social media, and those who are taking advantage of marketing, those who are taking advantage of PR, getting their interviews, doing their promotions, they're still calling into the radio stations, they're still on the blogs and on the online newspapers and websites. Those are the ones that when the smoke clears, they're already going to be there while other people are starting from ground zero, trying to reestablish themselves. You've already established the momentum during that period, and you're just maintaining it. When it's all over, other individuals, they have to start from ground zero, and you know that can be difficult to do.
Yeah, I think that's a good point, because even if you had to scale back during COVID, when COVID released, I mean, you got to have a way to get your message out there as an individual.
Absolutely. And the ones who have been vocal the entire time, those are going to be the ones that the outlets go to. You know, so for example, if you know Tony Jackson's out there talking about finances and he's promoting his book while others are saying, you know what, you know, I'm going to penny pinch during this period. I'm not going to focus on being out there. He's been projecting his voice throughout the entire time. So, hey, one, he's a financial expert. So we want to hear, how do you weather the storm of COVID-19? Not, you know, and of course, you know, that entails savings and being smart and minimizing your debt and all of those things as well. But at the end of the day, how can you still grow during this period? And I think that those are some of the things that myself or any other member of the public would want to know. Hey, how do I continue to live good? You know, how do I continue to make ends meet and possibly even grow and seize the opportunities? Because in crisis, there's always opportunities as well. And only certain people, you know, are wired to see the opportunities in chaos, while other people are scrambling and they're scared.
Yep.
Right. Well, that's what we were saying earlier too, right, Michelle?
Yeah.
We were talking about that there's going to be opportunities
there will be
in the recession.
Right.
And if you're positioning yourself to take advantage of those opportunities as individuals and as business owners and that type of thing. So here's the deal. So Michelle works with a lot of business owners.
Okay.
And then we have you who works with a lot of business owners, but you mentioned some individuals that you do PR for, right? Because there's individuals that need those types of things too, public individuals. So if you were pitching to Michelle a reason why she should say to one of her clients, you know, you need to do PR. What's step 1, 2, and 3? I mean, what do they need to do?
Right. So PR is essential to any business that truly wants to grow and be highly successful. All right. So when you look at any of the big brands, any of the celebrities, any of, you know, the major companies, they always have a PR team because they're always producing and, you know, they want to demonstrate their value to the public. So if you don't have PR, then essentially you don't truly have a voice. You might be able to take advantage of advertising and put a little snippet in the newspaper or maybe do a 60-second PSA on the radio, but people can't really, you know, get to know who you are, what your organization is all about. So PR helps you to articulate your voice, and it helps you to establish valuable and strategic relationships. And it also helps you to build credibility, which is the most important thing that advertising nor marketing can do for you. So that's number one. Also, public relations is essential to not only getting you, you know, press opportunities, you know, interviews on radio or on podcasts or blogs, but also it's about helping to partner you with organizations that align with your mission, that align with your core values. And that's extremely important because, as we always say, you know, your network is your net worth. So the relationships are absolutely critical. And that's also what public relations allows you to do. And then finally, it just positions you on different platforms where you can engage different members of the public. So that could be, you know, different events, networking opportunities. Of course, that's the press, you know, and, you know, it's really just about you being visible, you know, so PR helps you to be visible and it helps you to establish trust with the general public, and only public relations can really do that.
What you think, Michelle?
That's pretty good.
That's pretty
good. Yeah. I mean, because like I work with business owners. So they get confused between, you know, advertising. Do I need an advertiser, someone who specializes in ads?
Right.
Or do I need a marketing person, a content person, or salesperson, a PR person? We need all of these things,
Absolutely.
and they all have their individual jobs that they do. But the point is for the business owner to get your message out to the people who need it.
Mm-hmm.
And
Right.
all of these things can help you, but when you understand your values as a business and the problem you solve, then you can utilize these services to help escalate your message.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think about this, you got four things. You got branding, you got
Yep.
advertising, you got public relations, and then I think about copyright, right?
Yep.
So you kind of have all of these things that are critical,
Right.
and you got to kind of figure out how to make them all work. And I do want to get to Harvey's question, but this was so funny to me the other day. Lisa and I, we were somewhere, and this guy just, I mean, I think, and you can see he wanted to say my name, but he couldn't. He was like, money coach. Like, I guess that's what he knows me as, right? So money coach. So
Right.
but
That's your brand.
Yeah, that's branding.
That's the brand.
Yeah.
So I know you worked with Reverend Jesse Jackson, right? So Push, the Push organization. But Harvey Jones asked the question: how do these principles apply to a nonprofit?
Oh yeah, absolutely. The same way that it would to any other type of company. At the end of the day, if you have a nonprofit, you want people to know who you are. You want them to know what you stand for. Again, what type of value do you bring to the community? So I'm not sure what type of nonprofit that he has, but let's say it's focused on domestic violence, right? Or let's say it's focused on cancer. So if you have a nonprofit,
it's focused on helping young people be successful. Like,
okay,
just not just dress for success, but mindset.
Okay, yeah. So that's right up my alley. Yeah,
let's just say that happens to be the
right. Yeah, so let's say that's the nonprofit. Then of course, you want to engage, members of the general public that are focused on that issue. So what PR would help you to do is identify, media outlets that discuss those types of things, the youth, maybe it's inner city youth, at-risk youth, just individuals who are lacking resources. So we want to find the media outlets that, share stories that align with their mission. At the same time, we might want to explore strategic partnerships with individuals. They can be influencers that have expressed a commitment or passion to working with the youth. So maybe we'll look at some athletes. Maybe we'll look at a celebrity. Maybe we'll just look at, a local elected official or somebody who's interested in, and what they're focused on in the community is on, elevating young people, focused on education. Our job is to identify those individuals. It's our job to identify media organizations, and it's our job to identify different platforms where we can, present him, where he can have the opportunity to share more information about his organization, to share their missions and values, to share the impact that they're making in the community, to share their stories, because most people, before they buy into your company or your organization, they buy into you first. So as a leader of your nonprofit, we want to hear the backstory about, what made you so passionate about working with the youth. Maybe as a young person yourself, you didn't have a lot of resources. Maybe you grew up in a single parent household. Maybe you had traumatic experiences. You didn't really have positive examples. So as a publicist, my job is to pull all of those things out of you so that we can find the best ways to present this to the general public. And, when we're able to do that, that's how you build the relationships. When your message resonates with people, that's how you build credibility. That's how you establish that trustworthiness. That's how you garner advocates and supporters for your brand. So that's ultimately how you build up your nonprofit, by building those relationships. And of course, we might approach sponsors. We can get deep into this, but it's all about first people knowing who you are, what you do, what you stand for, understanding your backstory, and positioning you to where you can share it, and you can be that subject matter expert on critical issues that pertain to young people.
Well, and I think that if your public That was public relations, right? If you're public, I guess I'm trying to think. I can't. I'm drawing a blank on the word, but your public persona, right, can help you, even if you're a nonprofit, to get more grant money, more
Right.
donations.
Absolutely.
Go ahead, Michelle.
Yeah. And I work with some nonprofits too, and sometimes they get tunnel vision when they are looking for grants, and they focus on programming. But like PR is part of your operations. So they don't necessarily have the funding to hire you as a PR person to help get the word out. But it's essential to the nonprofit that they do that. So they have to find other resources. And you mentioned one as sponsorships, because then those are funds that are unrestricted, when you get sponsorships. So be creative so that you can get the resources that you need in your nonprofit as well as in your business as well, because it's all essential.
Absolutely.
That's good stuff. That's good stuff. As we were talking about this, I remember, Michelle will remember this since we go back so many years. I had a blue Tahoe, right? I had this blue Tahoe, and I had magnets on the side of my car, right? Listen, I had magnets. I was advertising my insurance agency. I had those magnets on. Wintertime in Michigan, you couldn't take the magnets off because it was cold. They wouldn't stick back to the car. I had these magnets on my car, and we had a hurricane or tornado come through, tore up everything. And I was like, man, I was out driving through like this debris. I mean, it was over, right? The tornado was over, but I was going out just looking at like
because you're an insurance agent,
and I had customers. And the news camera caught my truck with the magnets on it, driving through. Man, I got so much business from that because people saw. I mean, that wasn't paid advertising, right? I mean, but the news camera happened to be out there getting it and caught a picture of my truck with the name on the side of it as I was driving through this debris, checking on my customers, making sure they're all right. And so,
opportunity.
Yeah. So that's awesome. That's awesome. So Ivan, you've done a wonderful job for me in terms of opening my mindset in terms of just getting the message out there, because I do think that earned media is so much more powerful than paid media. And back in the day, man, I had billboards all over town, and those billboards were huge, right? In terms of creating branding and awareness, and especially when you're in a small town, 50,000 people. I mean, you put up a billboard every month, you gonna get known. And people always used to joke about like, well, you're a celebrity. I said, no, I'm an advertiser. Right, because a celebrity don't have to pay for that stuff, right? A celebrity gets all that media and that for free versus someone who has to pay for it. If you're paying for it, it don't make you a celebrity; it makes you a customer, right? It makes you an advertiser. And that kind of goes to your point about earned media versus paid media. So
I mean, there's a time and a place for it all, So what I'm doing is a PR practitioner is not to say advertising is not good or marketing is not good. We have to work and collaborate, with people in those circles all of the time, and lots of the tactics we actually employ in my company, but. I think it's just recognizing the different functions. PR is actually a function of marketing, so it is promotion. It's just a different type of it. And you have to recognize that, if you really want to, if you don't have a voice, you need to have a voice. You can have a billboard and people look, what in the world is that? And, they might glance at it for a second. They might say, oh, hey, I keep seeing this billboard. It might make them want to check into it, but when you hear somebody, you're listening to the radio or you're watching the TV interview or you're reading the article and you're just like, wow, like you actually get to hear the stories. You get to hear the passion. You get to hear where the mission came from. You get to hear the impact that they're making in the community. For example, you educating so many people, about how to, increase protect and dominate their money. You know,
You
those
better say that, brother. You better say that like you know.
increase, protect, and dominate your money. So at the end of the day, I mean, just hearing that right there, it's like, man, like I need to talk to them brothers some more, you know. And I think that's where the main distinction is between PR and marketing. I mean, we see ads all the time that, you know, things pop up on Facebook, they pop up on YouTube when you're watching videos. 9 times out of 10, you just click it, you want to get back to what you're watching, right? So what we want to do is just project your voice as loudly and clearly as possible, and just make sure that, you know, the important conversations we're inserting you into. So for example, as a publicist, and I put this into the press release. For example, if your focus is on helping members of our community to protect their wealth, and we know that the narrative out there is that by 2053 or whatever, the Black community is not supposed to have any wealth if nothing changes, then that's where we know, hey, we need to insert Tony into this conversation to talk about how we can, you know, change the tide, right? Because it doesn't have to happen. It's just a lack of knowledge, it's a lack of access, it's a lack of opportunities, and you're educating people on how to take advantage of those, how to identify that. So that's where we have to keep our eyes and ears open to see what's going on, because the way PR works is you either create the story or you follow the story. That's the way PR works. So when you have a book and you want to promote your book, you've created the story. The story is, hey, you know, Tony Jackson has released this new book, Increase, Protect, and Dominate Your Money, right? So you've created the story, and we want to bring more awareness to who you are and what your book is about. And of course, even though PR is not directly tied to, you know, just selling, you know, when we're able to get your message out there and people resonate with your brand, they're going to want to buy the book, right? So that's the first step. And then on the other side, you know, we're following the media, which means that we're identifying the stories, we're identifying the narratives and the trends that are taking place in your industry or in other industries that might impact your industry. And we say, hey, Tony, this is what people are talking about. This is the story that I just saw on the news, where this is the trajectory of finances, or, you know, we're approaching another recession. How do people need to prepare? That's when we insert you into those conversations as a subject matter expert and bring more attention to you. And then you might want to leverage that PR and maybe some marketing or advertising to take advantage of some momentum that you might get. And then, you know, you might bring it all together.
Right.
Hope that makes sense.
Yes, total.
That makes sense.
Total.
Makes sense, Michelle?
Yes, total.
Total sense, right?
Yeah.
So listen, Ivan, if someone wanted to get in touch with you and have a follow-up conversation with you regarding, you know, PR, and I love it, like, because we have marketing, and within marketing, you have these different types of, you got the PR, you got the advertising, and it's not either or, it's both and, figuring out that mix. And I do think too, that sometimes the PR pieces last longer in terms of their shelf life, right?
Well, PR is about longevity, right?
Yeah.
So when you build credibility, then you have the opportunity for longevity. You know, so lots of people, they might market themselves. You might see their advertisements all over the place, but they don't have good customer relations or something that, you know, they rub the general public the wrong way. Maybe they made some terrible public statement. You can put all of the marketing and advertising out and they say, you know what? I don't mess with that brand. You know, I don't want to support it. Right. But that's why it's about, you know, you sharing your message, knowing exactly who your target audience is, so you can speak directly to them. And, you know, if your message resonates, they'll want to support you.
Yep. I would think too, as we're going into a political year, that is a major part of someone running for office is having a good PR person. I mean, I absolutely can imagine that is like vital. I mean, that's like so important, you know, for sure.
On many points. Yeah.
Yeah. So if they want to get in touch with Ivan Thomas, how do they do that?
Okay, so you can visit my website, intriguemediagroup.com, and that's where you'll learn all about, you know, my company and what we provide. You can email me at ivan@intriguemediagroup.com, and I typically don't just give my number out, but because I'm on your show, I'm going to do that. So anyone can reach me on my cell phone. It's my direct cell, 202-904-4790. You can also reach me on Instagram at Mr. Defy Gravity or at Intrigue Media Group on Instagram.
Awesome. All right, Michelle. Any last words? Any last thoughts or questions you got for Ivan before we wrap this up tonight?
No, I think Ivan is amazing, actually.
I appreciate you guys.
Yeah, I think he's amazing. And you really explained it well, like what you do and how it's different from maybe some other avenues that people have heard of before.
Right.
So I really like it because it's the collaboration piece. That you're partnering with another group or organization to help get your message out. So,
right, absolutely. Yeah, I think that's key. Not to prolong it, but you guys talked about strategy, right?
Yeah.
So, I was listening in and you talked about how important strategy is. So there's, like I said, there's a time and a place. So, sometimes if your budget is limited, you really just have to prioritize, right now, for maybe this 90-day period, I need public relations. I need a press release out there. I need to do some interviews. I need to get my voice out there. I need to establish myself. And then maybe if I need to, maybe I put a pause on that, but I try to leverage that press to establish relationships, maybe reach out to organizations. And because this outlet has interviewed me, that makes people say, hey, you know what? They look like they're doing something. People care about their story. Let me check into them. Let me have a meeting with you because I just Googled you and I see that you're doing something. So you've been covered. For anybody, we do our research these days. So we're going to look somebody up, and it always would behoove you to establish a presence online, and PR helps you to do that. And then from there, if you need to tap into some marketing or, maybe some social media videos or some ads, then that's what you have to do. But having that strategist behind the scenes, that marketing strategist, that PR strategist, they'll let you know what you need. And, if they really care about your growth and what's best for you, they're going to tell you, hey, there's times where literally a potential client will come to me and I'll say, honestly, you're not ready for PR. I think you need to do this and this first. And when you establish that, then come to me and I'll be more than willing to help you. So that's the way
branding. Branding first.
Right.
Man, I don't know, man. I'm almost brave. I'm almost about to tell Dante, man, can you Google my name, the Real Money Coach, and see what comes up? What comes up?
By the end of the year, you're really gonna be driving them crazy.
Right.
What's that?
I said by the end of the year, you're really gonna be driving them crazy.
All right, man. Well, I love it, because it's just like that old saying. It's like if a tree falls in the forest and no one's there to hear it, doesn't make a noise.
Right.
And so you can have the greatest product, you can have the greatest everything book or whatever it is, you can have the best, but if nobody knows about it, then it just kind of goes by the wayside. So man, I tell you what, I certainly appreciate you coming on the show on both Saturday morning and here tonight. And just helping our people and our business owners. And I do want to make an emphasis of this. Even if you're not a business owner, these concepts that we're talking about translate to you as an individual.
Yes,
absolutely.
In terms, because some people, you're a business owner, but some people don't see themselves as a business owner. And that's a whole nother issue too, right? Because if you are insurance or if you're a realtor or if you're a gig employee, if you're an Uber driver or you do one of those gig type jobs, you are an entrepreneur, right? Even if you go to your 9-to-5 job every day, punch a clock or whatever that looks like, you are an entrepreneur. It's just a matter, your product is your services as an employee, or your services as a business owner or dentist or whatever career you decide. I think we have to have that attitude that I am an entrepreneur. I may be an employer, I may be an employeepreneur or whatever it is.
Right.
Attack your job as though you own it.
Hey, I think you said a mouthful there. I think it's important for us, whether we own a business or not, you should have a cabinet of professionals, right? You should have your financial advisor. You should have the person where if you need to get the word out about something, you know who to tap into. You know, you should know somebody in real estate. You know, we should know people like that. So that helps us to be successful in life, not just, you know, whether or not we have a business, but, you know, that's one of the most valuable lessons that I've learned is to have a cabinet of professionals. If you need an attorney, if you need a house, if you need to get a loan, you know, whatever you need, you should be able to reach out to somebody.
Tony, you need a squad.
Yeah.
Your squad. What's your squad name, Michelle?
The squad.
The squad.
Yeah.
The squad. I'm a member of the squad, y'all. I'm a member of the squad. You need. Now we can even take that biblical, right?
Yeah.
Because the Bible says that there's wisdom in a multitude of counselors.
Yeah.
And you know, we as the real money coach, there's people come to me all the time, and I don't get out of my lane. Right.
Mm-hmm.
If you come to me and it's something, I've learned my lesson about getting out of my lane. I stay in my lane. What do? I do personal finance. I do retirement. I do insurance. These are the things that I do. And then where there's a specialist needed, I need to develop that Rolodex and continue to develop that Rolodex that when my clients or my listeners or the people who watch this show come to me and they need to get in touch with someone, I have someone I can put them in touch with. That I have some confidence. And that's what a lot I do on this show is I interview people, and based on that, you know, some of them is like, man, that's somebody I can recommend to a lot of people, right? Yeah. I don't mind doing that. And then some may come on and it may not be a strong referral. You know, most are though. Most are. And so, yeah, love it. The squad.
Yes.
And having that Rolodex of people that you can turn people to it individually or whatever. Because our thing is we want to bring value to people's lives, you know, and you don't have to be a business owner to bring value to people's lives.
Right.
As an everyday person walking down the street, a child of God, just smiling at someone, saying hello, you bring value to everyone's life you touch. That's what we should be aiming to do.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So business or no business. So
yeah.
Well, listen, man, again, thank you for being on. I think we had a great show tonight.
Absolutely. I enjoyed myself.
And I enjoyed it. And we need to circle back and talk tomorrow. And Michelle, thank you once again. I mean, hey, listen, y'all give it up for Michelle Mitchell of Mitchell Consulting here every week. Come on, y'all give it up. Come on, give me something there. Dante for Michelle Mitchell tonight. Let's honor Michelle on this evening with a hand clap of praise or a gift or something. There you go. You go, girl. All right, there we go. I know my man is gonna come up with something for you. Yeah. But I just want to appreciate you for being here each and every week. And listen, y'all. There we go. Look at Bonita Harris. She put them hearts in the box there. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Right?
Rains of money. There we go.
There we go. So listen, everyone, thank you for being here. Make sure that you catch us on, as he has scrolling across your screen, catch us on Saturday morning, 7:30 a.m. Praise 100.9 here in Charlotte, or you can go praisecharlotte.com if you live outside of the area. Hallelujah. Thank you, Harvey Jones, for throwing that out to Michelle. So listen, Dante, take us home. We see y'all on Saturday morning. And again, here next week, I will be broadcasting live from the Power Networking Conference. Next week on Tuesday evening, we'll be live from Houston. And maybe we'll have some people come by and say hello. And people we might know who have been friends of the show. With that, I'm out. Y'all be good.
Have a good night.